As the world's leading manufacturer of fifth wheels and coupling devices, Holland Hitch has a major involvement in the successful operation, growth, and safety of the trucking industry. At Holland Hitch, we are dedicated to promoting industry safety. To help realize this goal, we present coupling and uncoupling procedures for tractor trailers. At the end of this program, we will discuss the operation of the Fleetmaster, the newest member of Holland's fifth wheel family. Our program begins with the proper coupling procedures for a single trailer. Before beginning the coupling procedure, the fifth wheel mounting should be carefully inspected. Any cracks must be repaired and loose or missing fasteners tightened or replaced. Be sure that the fifth wheel is properly lubricated. Make certain that the locks are open and the ramps are down. If a sliding wheel is being used, the slide locking plungers must be in the locked position to prevent any movement. The coupling procedure begins by carefully backing the tractor up close to the trailer, keeping the kingpin in line with the throat of the fifth wheel. Now, set the tractor brakes. Chock the trailer wheels. Next, connect the brake lines and light cord, making sure they are not damaged or tangled. And then, check the trailer for proper coupling height. The leading edge of the trailer bolster plate should contact the fifth wheel 4 inches behind the pivot pin. Raise or lower the trailer until the coupling height is correct. Charge the trailer brake system and set its brakes. Release the tractor brakes and back under the trailer while keeping the kingpin centered in the throat of the fifth wheel. Continue backing until the fifth wheel locks to the trailer kingpin. When the fifth wheel is locked, pull the tractor forward slightly as an initial check of the coupling. If the coupling feels secure, set the tractor brakes and make a visual inspection. The visual inspection is the most important procedure and must be done very carefully. When making your visual inspection, you should find the bolster plate resting firmly on the fifth wheel top plate. Next, look into the throat of the fifth wheel. When properly coupled, the jaws will be completely around the kingpin. This is a properly coupled Holland 2000 series fifth wheel, which incorporates the Type A lock. Note the position of the kingpin in the locks and the plunger behind the lock. This is a properly coupled Holland 3500 series fifth wheel, which uses the Type B lock. Note that the locks must be closed around the kingpin, and the rubber washer on the yoke shaft must be snug against the front of the casting. Remember, a careful visual inspection will do more than anything else to prevent a dropped trailer. The next procedure is to engage the secondary lock if so equipped. The secondary lock on a Holland 2000 series fifth wheel is engaged by pushing the lock handle in until it rests firmly in the locked position. A Holland 3500 series fifth wheel equipped with a manual secondary lock engages automatically. However, visually check for proper operation. Next, retract the landing gear using low gear until unloaded. Then, shift to high gear and continue cranking until fully retracted. Leave the landing gear in high gear and store the crank handle in the holder provided. Remove the wheel chocks and recheck the brake lines and light cord for proper connection. The tractor and trailer are now properly coupled. Remember that there are many other checks and inspections, such as lights, tires, wheels, brakes, and windshield wipers that we did not cover in this program. These are also required and are essential to safe driving. We have now reviewed the proper procedures for coupling a single trailer to a tractor. Now let's look at the proper uncoupling procedures. When uncoupling your trailer, an important first step is to find a firm foundation for spotting the trailer. To relieve the pressure on the fifth wheel locks, set the trailer brakes and back the tractor slightly into the trailer kingpin. Now, set the tractor brakes. This will make it easier to pull the lock release handle. Next, chock the trailer wheels. Using high gear, lower the landing gear until the pads make contact with the ground. To reduce the load on the fifth wheel, shift to low gear and crank an additional 4 to 8 turns. Do not raise the trailer off the fifth wheel. Then, leaving the landing gear in low gear, store the crank handle in the holder provided. Disconnect the brake lines and light cord. Place them in the holders provided on the back of the cab. If your fifth wheel is equipped with a manual secondary lock, it must now be disengaged. The Holland 2000 series secondary lock is released by pulling on the handle until it is in the unlocked position. The Holland 3500 series secondary lock is released by pulling the handle out and up. To unlock the fifth wheel jaws, simply pull the primary release handle. Now, release the tractor brakes and slowly pull out from under the trailer, letting the trailer slide down the fifth wheel ramps. This completes the uncoupling procedures. The procedures we've discussed have dealt with tractor-trailer combinations. The remainder of this program will deal with coupling procedures for doubles. Many of the procedure details involved in coupling doubles are the same as those for tractor-trailers and therefore have not been repeated. If you are not familiar with these details, you may wish to review the first part of this program. Before beginning, determine the weight of the trailers. If the loaded weight varies by 10% or more, the heavier trailer must be coupled to the tractor. Before coupling the tractor to the lead trailer, the air lines at the rear of the lead trailer must be closed. When coupling, follow the procedures outlined earlier in this program. The next series of procedures involve positioning the dolly for coupling. Begin by releasing the dolly brakes. This is done by pushing the dolly brake release valve to the release position or by draining the air from the dolly air tank. Couple the dolly to a towing vehicle. If the dolly is equipped with a dolly jack, it must be retracted. Holland recommends moving the dolly using a towing vehicle. However, if the dolly must be moved manually, exercise all the precautions involved in lifting and moving heavy objects. Position the dolly in front of the second trailer with the kingpin in line with the throat of the fifth wheel. Extend the dolly jack, if so equipped, and uncouple the dolly from the tow unit. Open the pintle hook latch. Now, using a marker, such as a pair of gloves, back the tractor and the lead trailer close to the dolly and set the tractor brakes. Position the dolly drawbar eye over the pintle hook horn. Retract the dolly jack and close the pintle hook latch, making sure the primary latch engages. The Holland PH 200, 300, 400 series pintle hooks are equipped with an automatic secondary lock. Check to make sure that it has engaged under the latch as shown. Connect the brake lines and light cord from the dolly to the lead trailer. Secure the safety chains or safety cable from the dolly to the lead trailer. This must be done in a way that will prevent the tongue from dropping to the ground if it is accidentally disconnected. If the rear trailer is not equipped with spring brakes, set the brakes as follows. Make sure the air valves at the back of the rear trailer are closed. Then, charge the air system on the lead trailer. Next, connect the emergency air line from the dolly to the rear trailer. Now, open the emergency line shutoff valve on the lead trailer to charge the air system on the dolly and the rear trailer. Keep your hands and fingers clear of the pintle hook or air cushion drawbar plunger to avoid any chance of injury. The shutoff valve on the lead trailer can now be closed and the emergency air line removed from the rear trailer. If these procedures have been followed, the brakes on the rear trailer are now applied. Release the brakes on the dolly as shown earlier and chock the wheels on the rear trailer. Be sure the dolly fifth wheel locks are open and the fifth wheel is properly lubricated. The ramps must be in the down position and the bolster plate should make contact 4 inches behind the pivot pin. If required, adjust the trailer height. Release the tractor brakes and back the lead trailer and dolly under the rear trailer until the dolly fifth wheel locks to the rear trailer kingpin. Test the coupling by pulling forward slightly. Now, set the tractor and trailer brakes. Remember, to ensure a correct coupling, you must make a visual inspection. This is the most important part of the coupling procedure. The bolster plate must rest firmly on the fifth wheel top plate, and the fifth wheel must be properly coupled with the jaws completely around the kingpin. Now, connect the brake lines and light cord to the rear trailer and open the shutoff valves on the back of the lead trailer. Following the procedures outlined earlier, retract the landing gear and remove the chocks from the rear trailer. There are other safety checks and inspections which we haven't covered that must be completed before releasing the brakes and departing. This completes the procedures for coupling doubles. Now let's discuss the uncoupling procedures for doubles. When uncoupling, begin by setting the parking brake. Extend the landing gear on the rear trailer, using the procedure outlined earlier, until the weight begins to shift off the dolly fifth wheel. Close the air valves on the lead trailer and disconnect the dolly air lines and light cord from the rear trailer. Release the dolly brakes and pull the release handle on the dolly fifth wheel. Release the brakes on the tractor and lead trailer and slowly pull the dolly out from under the rear trailer until the dolly is free. Disconnect the dolly light cord, air lines, and safety chains from the lead trailer. To remove the dolly from the lead trailer, open the pintle hook latch and extend the dolly jack, if so equipped, until the drawbar is higher than the pintle hook horn. Chock the dolly wheels. The tractor and trailer may now be pulled away from the dolly and the lead trailer uncoupled as outlined earlier in the program. This completes the uncoupling procedure. The newest member of Holland's fifth wheel family is the Fleetmaster. In this section, we will cover general information, such as how to identify a Fleetmaster, the release handle operation, the proper coupling procedures, including the necessary visual inspection, the proper uncoupling procedures, We will begin with general information. The Fleetmaster is similar to a Holland 2000 series fifth wheel. It also has a Type A lock, one lock that swings around behind the kingpin, but there are some clear differences between the Fleetmaster and other Holland fifth wheels. A Fleetmaster can be identified by its oval profile, which differs from the circular shape of all other Holland fifth wheels. The release handle is offset to provide kingpin clearance. There is also a locking finger that protrudes into the throat of the fifth wheel and is visible when the fifth wheel is unlocked. The locking finger is contacted by the kingpin and swings the lock closed when coupling. Next, we will discuss the release handle operation. Most Holland fifth wheels have a straight pull-release handle. The Fleetmaster has an integral secondary lock built into the release handle, which requires a different handle motion. This secondary lock consists of a step in the release handle that slides behind the opening in the rib of the casting, called the lock notch. To unlock the Fleetmaster, slide the handle forward out of the lock notch, pull it outward, and then while holding it out, move it forward and hook it on the unlocked notch. Fleetmaster fifth wheels are shipped with the locks closed. To identify if the lock is open or closed, you should note that when the lock is closed, there will be a circular shape where the kingpin goes, and the release handle will be in the closed position in the locked notch. If the lock is open, the release handle will not be in the locked notch, and the locking finger will be visible in the throat of the casting. Before beginning the coupling procedure for the very first time, it will be necessary to open the fifth wheel lock. To accomplish this, move the release handle forward, pull the handle out briskly, and while doing this, put pressure on the swing lock, attempting to swing it to the open position. With your hands completely clear of the fifth wheel lock, release the handle. The lock is now open, and the locking finger will be visible in the throat of the fifth wheel. Now we begin the coupling procedures. Remember to follow the complete coupling procedures discussed earlier in this program. As previously discussed, it is important when coupling to check the trailer for proper coupling height. The leading edge of the trailer should contact the fifth wheel at least 4 inches behind the pivot pin. Raise or lower the trailer until the coupling height is correct. As required with any fifth wheel, when backing into the trailer, you must feel the fifth wheel pick up the front of the trailer. If the tractor doesn't pick up the trailer, stop immediately. Pull forward, get out of the cab, and lower the trailer. Then continue with the coupling procedures you learned earlier. After coupling, perform a stretch test as discussed earlier. Then make the following visual inspections. The visual inspection is the most important procedure and must be done very carefully. When making your visual inspection, you should find the upper coupler plate resting firmly on the fifth wheel top plate, with no gap. Inspect the release handle. The handle must be positioned with the lock notch behind the rib of the casting. Since the Fleetmaster release handle is connected directly to the locking plunger, it is a visual lock indicator. When the release handle is in the locked notch, the fifth wheel lock is closed and secured. Finally, an additional check may be made by looking into the throat of the fifth wheel. When properly coupled, the jaw will be completely around the kingpin. Both the bottom of the kingpin